Alright, so the next section we're looking at 5-2. We're continuing with transformations, but the specific type of transformation we're looking at this time is called a reflection. Most of you are probably familiar with a reflection. You see it every time you look into the mirror. Okay, reflection is a flip. Okay, and to do a reflection, you have to know the line of reflection. So just like in the last section, to do a translation, you had to know the direction and the magnitude. Well, to do a reflection, you need to know where the line of reflection is. We need to know where the line of reflection is. All right? And so let's say we've got our triangle here labeled with all the coordinates of the points. Let's say I want to do a reflection with the y-axis. All right? So where's my line of reflection? It is the y-axis, which is here. So what that means is this triangle is going to flip over this line, or reflect over the line y equals, the y-axis. All right? And so the line of reflection is acting like your mirror. All right? So if I wanted to figure out where A prime was, then I need to reflect this thing across the y-axis. And so here's how it works. We need to figure out how many spaces point A is away from the line of reflection. And so let's count it. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So A is 4 spaces away from the line of reflection. Well, what that means is the prime point, or the reflection of A, is also going to be 4 the other direction. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, so there's your A prime. Now, what are the coordinates for it? Let's count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 1, 2, 3. 4, comma 3 is the correct coordinate for A prime. Alright? So again, a reflection. However far the pre-image is away, the image is going to be that same amount away from the mirror. Alright? Or from the line of reflection, I should say. Alright, what about B? How far away is B from the line of reflection? It's 1, 2. Alright, so it's 2 away, and so that means B prime is going to be 1, 2 away as well. Alright, so there's my B prime. Alright, and what are the coordinates? It is 2, comma 3. So 2, comma 3 is going to be the coordinates for B prime. And let's see if we can find the coordinates for C prime. How far away is it from the line of reflection? It's 2, and I need to go 1, 2 the other direction. And then there is my C prime. And let's see if we can get the coordinates of that. It'll be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2, comma 6 is the correct coordinate for point C. And remember what we said, once you get all 3 of your points on the graph, you can draw in and complete the circle. And then so now we can see this circle was flipped over the line of reflection, which is the y-axis. Alright? And so remember the main property for reflection, however far the point is away, the reflection is going to be that same amount, the opposite direction. Okay? We need to go ahead and see if we can write a rule here for this. And so let's see if we can come up with a rule. Alright, so what happens to the x coordinates to go from A to A prime? Well, it went from -4 to 4, right? Okay, so I think I got it. It should be add 8, right? Plus 8. Okay, so -4 plus 8 is +4. Now, here's the thing. A rule has to work for every point. It can't just work for one of the points. So if I'm thinking that that's my rule, add 8, I need to test it out on point B. So -2 plus 8 is going to be +6, and that's not what we got for B prime. So obviously that's not the rule. It's not just adding a certain amount. Okay? But let's take a look at the numbers and see if we can establish some sort of a pattern here. Alright, so look at the first point, -4, 3. Look at the prime point, 4, 3. Look at this, -2, 3, 2, 3. Look at this, -2, 6, 2, 6. Can you now see what's happening here? Yeah, I think after that you can kind of see what the pattern is. the x is changing sign. -4, +4. -2, +2. -2, +2. So the x number is changing sign. Well, how do you denote a sign change in a formula? Well, you just put a negative in front of the x, right? So x will change to -x. All right? So they change sign. And let me show you how this works. If I plug in -4 right here, okay, for this one, -4, this would be -4, and negative make a positive, so it would change the sign of it. Okay, so we're in good shape there. Let's see if we can get the y coordinate though. All right, what's happening to the y value? 3, 3, 3, 3, 6, 6. It's staying exactly the same, isn't it? So that means I'm going to write the exact same thing back. It's just y. Okay, so when you are reflecting through the y-axis, the rule is x comma y maps to -x comma y. So just change the sign of the first number and you've got it for reflection in the y-axis. Now, every line of reflection has a different rule. All right, so remember, this rule is only for the y-axis. So if it says find the coordinates of these points with a reflection through the y-axis, you're on it. All right, just flip it over and you got it. Okay. Let's try now another problem. So on the same graph, now our task is to perform a reflection with the x-axis. So now instead of flipping it through the y-axis, we're going to flip it over through the x-axis and try to get all three of the prime points. And so A is 1, 2, 3. So A prime is 1, 2, 3. All right, so there's your A prime. Okay, remember, however far A is away from the line of reflection, A prime is going to be that same amount. If this is 3, this has got to be 3. All right, that's the property of reflection. Okay, what else we got? We need to get the coordinate, don't we? All right, so the coordinate of A is 1, 2, 3, -4, and -3. -4 and -3 is correct. -4, comma, -3. All right. And so, again, let's do the same thing now with point B. How far is B away from the line of reflection? Remember, line of the reflection is x-axis this time. It's 1, 2, 3. So I need to go 1, 2, 3. And then there's B prime. Okay? What are the coordinates? -2, comma, -3. So -2, comma, -3. And of course we need C prime. And so let's take a look at point C. Alright, so point C is here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 away from the line of reflection. So I got to go 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then so there will be your C prime point. Alright? Okay. Coordinates now is going to be -2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -2, -6 is the correct answer. -2, comma, -6, and there you go. Alright? Alright, so now we're ready to attempt to write the rule. Before we do that, though, let's go ahead and finish our triangle out. So there's my prime triangle there. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and see if we can't write the rule for this thing now. Let's start by looking at patterns. Okay, so I know -4 and -4, so that's still the same. Is that true all the way across the board? -2, -2, -2, -2, and it is. So what that tells me is the x coordinate is exactly the same as what it was before, so I'll just write an x. Okay? Let's see here. What else we got? We need to try to find the y coordinate. It goes from 3 to -3, 3 to -3, and 6 to -6. Well, what's happening? It's changing sign. So y goes to -y. Alright? So again, now we have a general rule to show from any point what the correct coordinate is going to be. Let's test it out. So here, -2, comma 3 was B. So according to this, I should make the second one negative, so negative 2, negative 3. Yep, that's the point we got for B prime. Okay. Let's look at another example here now. And so on this one, okay, we're doing a reflection with the y-axis. All right, now it is possible for the mirror or the line of reflection to go down through the middle of the figure, and that's really what's happening here. So again, I've got my line of reflection right down through the middle of the figure, and that's fine. Okay, I'll just have to use my same principles. However far the point is away, the prime point is that many the opposite direction, and it will still work out as you're about to find out. So now I come this way, 1, 2 for A, and then I need to go 1, 2, and then that'll be A prime. Okay, so there's my A prime, and I know the coordinates 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're going to call that 2, 4. Okay. All right, the next one is for B prime, and so B is 1, 2. So I need to go 1, 2, and there is B prime at 2, 2. B prime. All right, now we're ready for C prime. So C, how far is C away from the line of reflection? It's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. Alright, and that point is C prime, and where is it? Negative 2, 1, no, not negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's negative 3, positive 3. Alright, and so those are the coordinates. Alright. Now we're not going to bother to write the rule because we already wrote the rule for reflection with the y-axis. It's the same rule as what we wrote up here. Okay? Because every different line of reflection that you use is going to come up with a different formula. But if we're using the same line of reflection, like we've done here, y-axis and x-axis are used quite a bit. Okay, so he's already got it memorized. All right? And so there you go. All right, so that's it. At this point, we're ready to start our quiz.